Good morning, children. Now, the subject is social science. So, little bit recapitulation I'll be checking. Okay. So, my dear students, okay, I will be continue the explanation of history. Which lesson? That is lesson number 8, the first empire. So, what did you all study or understood last class? You know, okay, I'll be telling again, once again that, okay. So in the last class, what did we study? In the last class, we read and understood of Alexander, the ruler. So what all you studied? You studied about Alexander. Where did he invaded? What was his contribution? What was his, how he was taking care of the people, and what was his dream? All those we have learnt in the last lesson. Then, and Alexander was the which ruler? He was the ruler of Macedonia. And then next, what did we study? We studied about the Mauryan Empire of the Chandragupta Maurya. And then who was Chandragupta Maurya? Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Maurya dynasty. And Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Mauryan dynasty. Why I am repeating this? Chandragupta was the founder of Mauryan dynasty, because you have to keep remembering who was the founder of Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Mauryan dynasty. Okay. So now I will be teaching about Bindusara. Who? Now I'll be teaching about Bindusara. Bindusara spelling is Bindusara. Bindusara. So what was his and how many years he was there? All those will be knowing. So Bindusara's time was like 297 to 273 BCE. So Bindusara is about 297 to 273 BCE. Okay, so who was Bindusara? What he did? All those will come to know. First of all, who was the Bindusara's father? And you will be knowing about the Bindusara's children also. So Bindusara was the son of Maurya dynasty. So Bindusara was the son of Maurya dynasty. So it is only Maurya dynasty? No. Who was the founder of Mauryan dynasty? Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Mauryan dynasty. So Bindusara was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. So Chandragupta was the founder of Mauryan dynasty, and Chandragupta had children, and his name was Bindusara. So who was Bindusara's father? Means you have to say Bindusara's father was the Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of the Mauryan dynasty. And Bindusara's mother was Durdara. So Chandragupta was the father of Bindusara, and she is mother of Bindusara. So what's her name? Durdara. Durdara was the mother of Bindusara. Bindusara's father Chandragupta, Bindusara's mother Durdara. Okay. Now Bindusara's children. So he had children. What was his children? Who are your children? Who are his children will know, no? So Bindusara's children were you might be knowing, you might have a little bit read about Bindusara or Chandragupta Maurya. So you will be knowing or not, okay? I'll be teaching. So Bindusara's children were Ashoka. Bindusara's children were Ashoka, 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 and Bindusara had 3 children. How many children he had? He had 3 children, and one was Ashoka. The other name is Susima. And then another one name was Vittashoka. Vittashoka. So once again, I recapitulate. Once again, I'll take. So after Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara came as a ruler, as a king, as a empire. And who was Bindusara? Bindusara was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. and Bindusara's mother was Durdara, and he was there up to from 297 to 273 BCE. Bindusara was there, and then after that, the Bindusara had 3 children. They were, one is Ashoka, and then Susima, then with Ashoka. Then where did he establish is the kingdom will know. So Bindusara extended his empire south up to Mysore, where from south up to Mysore he extended his empire. And then Bindusara children, as I said, why I am pressing this, this is the, your next it will be teaching about Ashoka only. So Ashoka was a great ruler, you will come to know, only now short line I have given. So Bindusara children were Ashoka, Susina, and then with Ashoka. So now I'll be explaining about Ashoka. So I think, should I take once again about Bindusara? Okay, Bindusara was a Mauryan ruler, and Bindusara's father was Chandragupta Maurya. Who was Chandragupta Maurya? Chandragupta Maurya was the founder of Maurya dynasty, and Bindusara's mother was Durdara. Bindusara had 3 children. One is Ashoka, Susima, then with Ashoka, he extended his empire up south up to Mysore. Okay, now I'll be explaining about Ashoka. Ashoka was about 268 to 232 BCE. So Ashoka is about 268 up to 232 BCE. So who was Ashoka? Now again you might have know the answer, I think, because just now I explained about Bindusara. Bindusara had 3 children. One was Ashoka, Susima, and with Ashoka. So Ashoka's father, who was Ashoka's father children? Ashoka's father was Bindusara. So we can now, everybody will say, and then he is known as, who is known as Ashoka was one of the greatest emperors. So he was known as one of the greatest emperor. Ashoka was known as one of the greatest empire of ancient India, and he ruled. What all he did, everything we will be come to know. Okay, sorry, 1 minute. So Ashoka was one of the greatest empire of ancient India, and he ascended. He ascended means from where to where he has extended his kingdom, or how he brought up all those. Okay, so he ascended Magadha in 268 BC. Who Ashoka only already, he means you may understand or you may not understand, so I'll be writing as Ashoka only. Okay, so Ashoka ascended Magadha. Ashoka ascended Magadha in 268 BCE. Once again I repeat, why I always repeat means you are not alert sometimes. So when I stress or when I repeat twice, you will be alert, or automatically it goes to your mind. Okay, so only. So Ashoka ascended Magadha in 268 BC, and he captured territories in the Ganga Yamuna Valley. Ganga Yamuna Valley. Ganga Yamuna Valley. Ganga Yamuna Valley, because you will be knowing, so only I am repeating. So he captured in Ganga Yamuna Valley and in southern part and eastern India. Okay, soon he stretched from Kabul to Kanchipuram, means he has taken all the territories there. Okay, he did not leave any other places or anything. So these are the places he has ruled it. So once again I repeat. Okay, so he captured territories in the Ganga Yamuna Valley and in southern and eastern India. Soon he stretched from Kabul to Kanchipuram. So from there also he extended his kingdom. So Ashoka sent a message. Ashoka, what he used to do? He used to send. So wherever the place he wanted to acquire, so for those kings he used to send a message. Sending a message means you have to give your kingdom to me, or else if you are not giving, you have to fight in the sense battle. So like that, what he did, he sent a message. So Ashoka sent a message to the Kalinga also. So and then where the Kalinga king did. So what it said, he told Kalinga king to be surrendered. But the Kalinga king, he refused to surrender, or he said, no, why should I surrender to you? I am ready to battle, or I am ready to fight, like that he said. So once again, whenever he asked also, the Ashoka sent a message to Kalinga. So Kalinga king, he refused to be surrendered to him. So what the Ashoka did, Ashoka has to fight against him. Ashoka started battle of him. So Ashoka battled against Kalinga. With whom he battled? He battled against Kalinga. Ashoka battled against Kalinga. Ashoka battled against Kalinga. Why, you might be thinking? Kings means they will be going for war, only going for battle also. Why only this battle was very important for stressing? See, Ashoka fought with many king and many ruler. There he did not feel anything, but this is the battle Ashoka has completely changed. How he has changed, what way he has changed, why did he change, all this we will come to know. So that is the reason Ashoka battled against Kalinga. After this Kalinga, what happened in Ashoka's life, we will be knowing. So in this battle, only Kalinga was defeated. Ashoka won and Kalinga defeated. After Kalinga defeated, the Ashoka came and he saw the battle. He saw the field also. So defeated by Ashoka's army. Who was defeated by Ashoka's army? Kalinga king defeated by Ashoka's army. So after he defeated, what happened? Ashoka came. In this battle, millions were wounded. In which battle? In the Kalinga won. This war is called, it is called as Kalinga battle only. In the Kalinga battle, many people were wounded and many of the children, they lost their parents also. So I'll be explaining of one by one. Then, so in this, what all happened in the Kalinga battle. So millions were wounded and killed. Many people killed. And Ashoka's sight in the means he went to the battlefield and he saw. Sight means he saw, he greeted, then he was seeing all this. He saw that we will be feeling very bad. Now one accident itself only we feel bad. So when he saw that, so when he sight greeted his eyes, means from his eyes itself only he saw. Sometimes we see in front of us only many accident, it happens. We really feel pity for that, So like that only. But even why he felt in this, he means in this, especially in this Kalinga battle only, many people were wounded, many people killed, and many children lost their parents, and then the full field was covered with bodies of dead soldiers. So many soldiers dead, and it was completely, we can say, there was completely the blood only, we can say that. So wounded soldier crying in many children were orphaned, widows mourning their loss. Ashoka was scared and Ashoka was appealed. We say this word as appealed. So at this distraction. So once again, I explain what was happened in Kalinga's battle. In Kalinga's battle, many people passed away. Many people were not there, and many people wounded. Wounded means like we couldn't be get up, or they were lost their legs, hand, all like this. So that is called as the wounded. And many children, as I said, only many ladies and all, they lost their husband. So that was one widow for them. that there are many people, many ladies have become widow and they were crying. All this when they saw, when Ashoka saw, he was some completely miserable, and then then finally he took one decision. What was that? He made a vow to never war again. Who made a vow to never war again? Ashoka made a vow to never war again. Remember this sentence, okay? Ashoka made a vow to never war again. So he took this means Ashoka made vow to never war again. Means he took a decision that I am not going to battle or I am not going to war with any king at all. Why he took the decision? Means we saw that many people were killed, many people were not having their husband, and the full of the what field completely the battle from the because of this Kalinga battle only, full of the field was dead bodies only. So after seeing that, he came to know what is in the life. Why should we fight like this and all? He felt and he took a complete decision, that is not to war again. So it means Ashoka made vow to never war again. So don't write, he decided not to fight and all. That is only to understand. When it comes to written, we have to mention Ashoka made vow to never war. Ashoka made vow to never war. This is only, we have to write this. So he made a vow to never war again after the Kalinga battle. What was? He took the decision. So after the Kalinga battle, Ashoka began to practice ahimsa. So he began to practice ahimsa. Who began to practice ahimsa? Am I talking or am I explaining about Chandragupta Maurya? No, I am explaining about Ashoka. So Ashoka only practiced ahimsa. So Ashoka practiced. Practice means he was wanted ahimsa only. Ahimsa means we all learned in the Buddhism lesson. We should not harm anybody. We have to tell truth, all those, okay? And we have to be kind to be with animals. We have to be kind with our younger ones, and we have to respect our elders. All those and all comes ahimsa only. I think I need not detailedly explain about ahimsa because you learned in the Mahavira lesson and Buddha lesson also. So Ashoka practiced ahimsa. The question may come, what did Ashoka practiced? So it is only one word. Ashoka practiced ahimsa. So Ashoka practiced ahimsa. So Ashoka practiced ahimsa. He found comfort in teaching of Buddha. So instead of going for a war, instead of battling, all those, this is very important and it is very nice. It is very comfort being a ahimsa he felt, and he was very comfort in teaching of Buddha. So here what all he did, how he has telling about Buddhism and how he was with the subjects. He was with the subjects means how he was with these people, all those one by one, point by point, I'll be explaining, children. So first is Ashoka gave up. Why I am mentioning always Ashoka, Ashoka, Ashoka means you might be not alert. He, who, he, like that you will feel. So only all that time I'm mentioning about Ashoka, Ashoka, Ashoka. Okay. So Ashoka gave up. Ashoka gave up warfare. Ashoka gave up warfare means he stopped fighting, he stopped with the war, he stopped with the battle. No more battle, he said. So he gave up warfare and hunting. And hunting. He became vegetarian. You know this meaning? Huh? Later I'll write remaining. Okay, so Ashoka gave up warfare and hunting. Means all the kings, they used to go for the forest, and whichever the animal they were seeing, they used to kill. That is called as hunting only. So then he realized, so hunting, he realized, if I kill those animals, it hurts them, means I am losing their life, so I should not do that. So he stopped hunting, and then he became a vegetarian. This you all know. Usually we will be asking, are you veg or are you non-vegetarian? We'll be asking. So he became a vegetarian. Means earlier you was a non-veg, means you used to eat whatever the chicken, mutton, what we say, all those you used to eat. Now after the Kalinga war, which war? The Kalinga war, you have to keep remembering. After the Kalinga war, he became a vegetarian and he stopped the hunting, he stopped going for the battle also. Then stop killing. Stop killing. Actually, this word stop killing, then kill no. The animals, all those and all that only. Okay, so he stopped killing of animals. That is comes there only, hunting only, killing of animals. Killing of animals for food. And he sacrificed. Sacrifice. S-A-C-R-I-F-I-C-E. The spellings are, you have to know properly. What is the spelling of sacrifice? S-A-C-R-I-F-I-C-E. Sacrifice. Once again, I repeat. S-A-C-R-I-F-I-C-E. Sacrifice. Once again, S-A-C-R-I-F-I-C-E. Sacrifice. So you know the sacrifice meaning also in Buddha only. So sacrifice in his kingdom. In his kingdom means here we will know that usually the king means whatever they want, wherever they get, they will be taking, whether it is belong to the other person or not, they don't even bother. They want means they want. But here sacrifice means like that, okay, it is belongs to the other, I should not take, and what they wanted, I have to give, all those called as a sacrifice. So I will be explaining again this. Ashoka gave up warfare and hunting. Means he stopped the battle, he stopped for war, and he stopped the hunting also. He became a vegetarian. He became a vegetarian. He stopped eating the animals. He stopped eating like whatever I say, that mutton, chicken, all those only. He stopped. Then stopped killing of animals. So stop killing of animals means same as the hunting only. Wherever, whichever the animal they say, they used to kill also, and that animals they were using for food. So we can eat, when we become vegetarian, need not kill the animals. So he sacrificed his life, and one more in this way also he has sacrificed his life, and again and sacrificed one more meaning in his kingdom, means for his subjects, means for his people he has sacrificed the life. So you know, once again, if you are in the class, I would have made you to repeat. So once here I will be teaching, once I read, so along with me or after me, after seeing that your YouTube, you can go through or you can repeat also. You can say whatever it is. So I'll say once, okay? I'll read once, okay? Ashoka gave up warfare and hunting. He became a vegetarian, stopped killing of animals for food and sacrifice in his kingdom. Okay, next point. Next point is, one second, I will clean this. Okay. So what is the next point? Next point is only like a sacrifice, I said. So in what way he has sacrificed his life for his subjects, for his people. Okay. He built stupas. B-U-I-L-T, built. Repeat the spelling. B-U-I-L-T, built. He built stupas. He built stupas and viharas He built stupas, viharas across. You have to use these words only, simply saying on the roadside and all, he builds stupas, viharas. That is not the correct sentence. So only we use across words. So always we have to write correct sentence. Okay. He built stupas, viharas across the country. He spread the message of Buddhism. Message of Buddhism. He spread the message of Buddhism. You might have understood all Buddhas. Have you remember Buddha's eightfold path and then noble truths and all I have taught. So once again, you have to read the Buddha's lesson. So here he built stupas and viharas across the country. He spread the message of Buddhism. Means in the Buddhism, all ahimsa is there. So he has told his people to follow the Buddhism only, and what all Buddha has taught, what all the Buddha's preaching was there, all have to follow, he has said. And then he built stupas and viharas across the country. Stupas means how the people have to be there, what all is, he wanted to tell the people, all those we can say it as a notice board will say, but don't use the word as notice board, we have to use the word as stupas only and viharas only. So he built stupas and viharas across the country, he spread the message of Buddhism. So next point. Next point is, he sent messenger to far places. He sent messengers. He sent messengers to far places to spread the ideas of Buddhism. Ideas of Buddhism. Should I explain again about the Buddhism lesson? Who was Buddha? What was his preaching? What was his eighth path? No need. I think you have all learnt in the lesson only. So, who sent? Here, he means the Ashoka. So, Ashoka sent a messenger to far places to spread the ideas of Buddhism. Messengers means some people we used to, he sent. So, which are some people he sent? He sent some people to tell about the Buddhism, to tell about the Buddha. So how was Buddha? What was his preaching? And how we have to adopt in our life, all those and all. So he sent a messenger. He sent some people for the far places, means for Sri Lanka, all those and all. He sent some people to tell about the Buddhism. So once again, I repeat, Ashoka sent messenger to far places to spread the ideas of Buddhism. He sent the people to spread about the Buddhism. Okay. So next point is, but he was completely, he became a Buddhism. So some kings, what they do, whichever they belongs to that community, they expect the people also, means his subjects also to be like that. So Ashoka was completely, he has become a Buddhism and he was following every of the Buddhas only, but he did not force his people to convert to the Buddhism caste or anything. So that point only I'll be writing it now. Okay. Though Ashoka was a follower Follower means whatever according to the Buddhism, whatever was there, he was having, and he was following all his ideas and his preachings only. Who was following? Ashoka was following. So he became a follower of Buddhism. So Ashoka, though Ashoka was a follower of Buddhism, he encouraged. What did he do? He encouraged. He encouraged his people. His people means his subjects, his people, those who are in his kingdom, they are all called his people. Okay, people to practice. This is ISC only, not CE. Okay. Their own religion. THEIR. Always according to the sentence situation, you have to use this word THEIR. Here THERE will not come. THERE is there, we kept it. That and all will come. THEIR means here in this. So he encouraged his people. This there belongs to the people. Okay. Their own religious. Religious spelling RELIGIOUS. Spellings are very, very important, children. Religious spelling is RELIGIOUS. So, though Ashoka was a follower of Buddhism, he encouraged his people to practice their own religion. So, Ashoka he became completely the Buddhism. And but if he converted or if he become a Buddhism also, some people they like, well, according to so now I'll say I am in this community, I'll not to follow that, then we will say. But though he is a king and though he is a follower of Buddhism also, he told his people, whichever you convert or whichever you are comfortable with your religion, you can be. It is not that very compulsory, all have to follow the Buddhism or all have to convert the Buddhism caste also, he said. So once again, though Ashoka was a follower of Buddhism, so he was a following of Buddhism also, he encouraged his people to practice their own religion. So he said, whichever you are comfortable in your religions, means whatever religious means what they according to their custom, what they will be following. So they can follow that only, he said. Then after this, what did Ashoka did? Ashoka, I'll repeat. Okay, Ashoka started having a Dhammas. Ashoka's Dhammas. ASHOKAS. Ashoka's Dhamma. DHAMMA. Ashoka's Dhamma. DHAMMA. So remember the spelling. I always repeat. Remember the spelling DHAMMA. Dhamma. So now what is meant by Dhamma? And why it is Dhamma? First of all, we have to say this is Ashoka's Dhamma only. It is called. So now I will be explaining what is meant by Dhamma. What is the meaning of Dhamma? So Dhamma is a set of edicts. Okay, one is Dhamma is a set of edicts that formed a policy of Ashoka. One main thing I'll explain later. Okay, how that word came, what it is, I'll explain it again. Okay, Ashoka's Dhamma on rocks and pillars. So where was that? Ashoka's Dhammas on rocks and pillars. Ashoka's Dhammas on rocks and pillars. Rocks and pillars. Here I left the blank. Why means I have to tell detailedly about Dhamma. That is why. Afterwards I'll tell that. Okay. So Ashoka's Dhammas was on rocks and pillars. Means whatever he was preaching, whatever he wanted the people, all those and all, he has wrote it on the rocks and pillars. Okay. rather that was rocks and pillars in 13 rock edicts, okay. Or the most famous of Ashoka's Dhammas was the principles of life, means how we have to be life, what we have to be, all those and all, it is written in the rocks and pillars of 13 edicts. 13 edicts. That will be completely adapted of the life of principle of life to be adapted and follow Dhamma is a way of life. Means what is that Dhamma? Here I left the blank. I'll be telling that later only. And before that, what was Ashoka's Dhamma only you have to learn. So Ashoka's Dhammas on rocks and pillars of 13 edicts is the very important, and what it is means how we have to be in our life, what we have to do in our life, all those and all as completely explained in the edicts and in the Dhamma. It is tolerance of people. So what is Dhamma? Actually, Dhamma is a Praktic word and it is a Sanskrit word. In Sanskrit word, Dhamma means we have to be religious. That again I will be telling in the our question and answers. I will be explaining that. Okay. So it is tolerance. Tolerance means there will what will happen. Sometimes we have to tolerate. What we have to tolerate when we are come across something, when they may do something for us also, or when they scold also. Sometimes we have to tolerate. Why we have to tolerate? We should not get angry. So if they are telling in that, we have to find it why the person is talking like simply unnecessarily getting angry, we lose our what it is called as what to say that we should not be we should have a little patience, we can say. So that is called as the tolerance. So it is tolerance of people and the nation of showing consideration towards slaves and servants. So here you will be understanding. So Ashoka's Dhamma, what is Ashoka's Dhamma? I go in one way to explain it. Actually the Dhamma's word is a Praktic word and it is from the Sanskrit. In Sanskrit the Dhamma means religious. It is meant as a religious, and here the complete meaning of means that in 13 edicts of the rocks and pillars of 13 edicts, it is a very famous, it is very important also, and in that it is written completely how to lead a life. First we should have a tolerance. We should have a tolerance means we should have patience for unnecessary things and all. We should not get angry, and we should not be very proud also. We should be proud of our country. We should be proud of our religion, and whatever our religious is there, we have to tell the people also. And then moreover, we should respect to our elders, take care of the younger ones, and be kind to animals. All those and all the lifestyles of the Dhamma. That is what the meant by Dhamma. And one more thing, we have to should not be scolding our servants and all when they come to our house and all. We'll be scolding, no, that and all we should not do. Also we should respect how we are working, those people are also working. So it means that Ashoka had, though I am a king also, I should take care of my children. Means my children means his subjects, his people, his kingdom people. I have to treat them as a father, he thought. So in our house also, so many people will be having maids. We have to take care of them. Means we should not scold, or we should not be very unruly with them and all. We should not do that. So further is also there, but it is time up. I have to wind up. So what I'll tell you, page number 57 and 58 you have underlined. Now it's a time for me to give a homework book, but still I wanted to explain. I'll continue in the next lesson, children. Now I'll be, as usual, I'll be giving the homework that you know. Mainly I'll give it as the spellings to learn. So you have to underline. Kindly I'll open the textbook. Okay. So whichever the word I'll tell, page number 59 only. So first I'll mention the homework. Okay. Learn and write. This is L means learn and write. Marked words, all the time underline all those new words you have to learn. So learn and write marked words thrice. How many times? Thrice. 3 times you have to learn. So page number 59. All open page number 59. Here I'll be giving the word as one is Seleucus nectar. That is here Seleucusnectar. Seleucus nectar. I'll write here. Underline it. Okay. Seleucus nectar. So underline this word, and in next line is not very further, next line also. Here in this second para, extended. Can you see next para? Second word is extended. E-X-T-E-N-D-E-D, extended. Then here, come to the third para, believed. You might be thinking, ma'am, you are giving believed spelling. Ma'am, though I am giving believed spelling also, you are all writing the believed spelling is B-E-L-I-V-E. That is the reason I am giving you believed spelling. That is B-E-L-I-E-V-E-D, believed spelling. Okay. So this is number 2 and this is number 3. So only 3 words I'll give that you have to learn and write 3 times. Thrice means 3 times you have to write. Now by this you might be thinking what is this? Words are less, but reading I'll give. Reading is page number 59. You have to read. So read page number 59. So by this children, I will be winding. Next class, same lesson only. Along with the same lesson, little bit of PDF what I sent, that all those and all, I will be taking revision and I will be teaching also. Okay, thank you very much. Children, please be study. Don't go out and all to avoid corona. I am requesting. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, children.